I recently hauled a beautiful edition of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I will leave the book haul video down below. I think it was my October book haul. And ever since then, I've been realizing that I own a lot of classics, for lack of a better term. I'm using classics loosely. I'm defining the classic myself. I believe I own a lot of classics that I have not read. And it's not that I don't want to read them, because clearly I want to. I own them. I find that I don't really make time to read classics, whether they be like older classics or newer classics, etc. I just don't make as much time to read classics. So I thought I would share with you four classics that I own that I have not read. And maybe I'll make this like a series on my channel where I share with you like a lot of like quote unquote classics that I own but haven't read yet, and then once I do read them, I can like share with you what my thoughts were after reading them. Not really sure how this is gonna work, but here are 4 classics that I own but haven't read yet. First, I have Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. I actually own 2 editions of this book. This is my favorite one. It's like this like old school hardcover, like beautifully illustrated edition. I'm not sure if it's because I'm worried that I will absolutely love it, or if I'm worried that it won't meet my expectations and I'll like the other renditions more. I don't really know with this particular one why I haven't read it, because it's definitely like my kind of story. I love this type of read, so I really want to get around to it. I just really truly need to make the time to read it. For those of you who don't know, Alice in Wonderland follows a young girl who doesn't really feel like she belongs in her life. She's not super happy, and she quite literally falls through a rabbit hole to another world called Wonderland. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And like crazy adventures, hilarity, ridiculousness ensues, and that's like the basis of the story. But it like at its heart is that story about like going to another world to kind of find yourself, like very Wizard of Oz-y, and it's just, again, just very up my alley. So I don't really know why I haven't read this yet, but I very much want to. If you have read like the original Alice in Wonderland, comment down below and let me know if you think it's something that I should try to like make a priority in the near future, because I'm going to try to read like a classic that I own every 2 months in 2019, so I need to decide which ones are going to be like top of the list. Next, we have a childhood classic, and that is Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. I was a huge Winnie the Pooh fan as a kid. I watched like all of the shows, all the movies. I owned the dolls. I was obsessed with it as a child, but I never read the original text. This one I can actually tell you 100% I haven't read because I'm worried that it will disappoint me, because I honestly was like, I was very obsessed with Winnie the Pooh as a child, and I don't want to read this as an adult and have it like tarnish my feelings about it from when I was younger, which I know sounds dumb because like I'm sure it's going to be wonderful and just as great as everything I story-wise consumed as a child, but haven't read it yet. Next, I have Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt. This was one of my favorite movies growing up. It's probably still one of my favorite movies just because of how the ending to this movie like affected me as a girl growing up. I loved this movie. It was about growing up. It was about love. It was about what love means. It was about loving yourself more than somebody else. I could not recommend the movie highly enough. I very much want to read the book, but I haven't looked up whether the book ends the same way, and I basically need it to in order for the story to have the same effect that it's always had on me. And last but not least, I have The Princess Bride by William Goldman. I find that this is one of those books where the movie is definitely more popular than the book. And I've obviously seen the movie. I haven't seen it like a million times like most people, but I definitely did love the movie. I loved the premise of it. I loved like the wit and the humor as well as the like heart of the story. But I've heard that the book is phenomenal if you are a fantasy lover. I've also heard that it's like one of those classic fantasies that like you have to read. So I have this like illustrated edition. I'll try to find this exact edition and link it down below. I always link all of the books I talk about in every single video in the description box of every video, but I'll try to find like this exact edition because the artwork is just stunning. Okay, so those are 4 of the classic books that I own but I haven't read yet. Make sure to comment down below and let me know which of these 4 you think I absolutely need to read first. Also, if you have any fantasy books that you own but you haven't read yet, comment down below and let me know, and we can like be a part of this club together. And other than that, I will see you guys soon with another video. Happy reading.